people than ever are turning 65 in the year 2025. And you know what that means? They might need a little bit of help when it comes to Medicare. Well, have no fear. We have an expert here with us this afternoon. This next segment has been sponsored by St. Louis Insurance Group. Stephanie Pogue is joining us. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about it. I mean, there were so many changes to Medicare in 2025. Now that the dust is kind of settled, where have you seen the biggest impact?
Yes, and I'm really glad that we get to talk about this again because that annual election period is so overwhelming and confusing for people. You get a lot of mail, you get a lot of phone calls, and it's hard to tell how those changes are actually going to impact you for the following year. So this year, what I've seen the most of are prescription drug changes. So if, for example, you're taking a brand name drug, a blood thinner, a diabetic drug, something like that, you probably noticed at the pharmacy that you're paying 3, maybe even 4 times more than you were last year.
That's high.
Yeah, or you have a deductible, or in a lot of cases, that drug isn't even covered anymore. Yes, so there were a lot of changes, and I think it caught people off guard this year. But the good news is if you're having any kind of problems, any kind of questions, anything like that, call me, call an agent. There may be ways that we can help you through that.
So, and I know that that can be alarming for some people experiencing that. They're looking at their bill when they're at the pharmacy. They're like, wait, this drug is no longer covered. I mean, what are other changes that people should be paying attention to?
Yes, so there is one other big one this year that I think people aren't really aware of, and it has to do with dual enrollees. So these are people who have Medicare and Medicaid. Yeah, now in the past, you could change your plan multiple times throughout the year if your healthcare needs changed. This year, you can only change one time outside of that annual election period. So you really want to make sure that you've got the right plan for you and you're not locked in all year. So call with questions.
Pretty big change. And that's why it's important to sit down, chat with an expert, really know what you're signing up for, because that is huge. And as our baby boomers are coming to an end, I mean, they are seeing 65. So many people are going to be turning 65 in the year 2025. They're going to become eligible for Medicare. What key steps should they take to make sure it's a smooth transition?
Yes. And first of all, it is completely normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out about this. But we have a really easy process that we walk our clients through. And I like to start like 3 to 6 months before you turn 65. So just mark it on your calendar, contact me ahead of time. We first go through the basics of Medicare. You need to know what all the parts are, how to enroll, when to enroll, all those kind of things. And then we talk about not only what Medicare covers, but what it doesn't cover. Because there are a lot of pitfalls, there's a lot of exposure. And we want to help you fill in those gaps.
That's just as important too, knowing what's not covered so you can prepare for it and, like you said, truly fill in those gaps. And you mentioned giving you a phone call, Stephanie. I mean, so many people think that getting assistance can have a pretty high price tag. Can you explain how much your services cost and how they actually work?
The great news is there is no cost to the consumer, no cost to you at all for our services. So Medicare is something that you pay into your entire working career. And we can help you maximize those benefits, no cost to you. So I love it when people stand up from the meeting and they say, oh my gosh, you made that so easy. That's why I do this. I can take this big, stressful, overwhelming thing off your plate and make it easy for you.
I love that. Peace of mind. That's what we all want. It can be overwhelming. It can be daunting, and people really don't know what to do. So if you're nearing 65, you are stepping into Medicare for the first time in your life, guess what? There's help for you at no cost to you. So St. Louis, if you're at home, you're watching, you're interested in learning more about Stephanie's services, you can head online to their website. Now, Facebook at St. Louis Insurance Group or Stephanie's website at stephaniepogue.com. You can also pick up the phone and give them a call at 636-778-2999.